Hello, I'm Ned Hall, and coming up now, highlights of the fifth test of the 1989 Ashes series, played in the middle of August. This one was played at Trent Bridge, and with the series already in the bag, Australia didn't take their foot off the gas. England made a couple of changes and some well-known names coming in to the starting side, with Michael Atherton and Devon Malcolm both making their test debuts. Mark Taylor was in superb form in this match as Australia batted first in the match and completed a resounding win by over an innings. So then, the fifth test of the 1989 Ashes series played at Trent Bridge.
Here comes Malcolm starting a new over from the Radcliffe Road end. He's in, he bowls, and Taylor comes forward, pushing this sort of push drive. It goes through the mid-off gap. They go for one. They come back for two. Hemmings is after it, and that is Taylor's 50. Well, another fine innings, and what a prodigious record he's had in this series. And when, in a few moments, Bill will no doubt tell me exactly what his figures are. But he scored an awful lot of runs, and the score, it's brought up the 100 at the same time. So he's got exactly half the runs that have been scored.
Fraser starts a new over. He bowls to Marsh, and Marsh up on tiptoe, clips that wide of point. Now, will this go down to the boundary? They've run one. They come back for the second, and does it arrive at the rope? It does. Marsh gets his 50. It's his first 50 in this particular series, and I know that inwardly he is going to be delighted. He signals to the dressing room. I've just watched him train in recent weeks, and he's had the head down, wondering where that big score would come from. Well, 50 might be the start of that. He's a determined player, and I must say that I share his relief and joy at getting that 50. He lopes into the wicket and bowls to Marsh again, and Marsh deflects that beautifully, glance down towards fine leg. Cook should get to this, or will he? I thought he would, but that shot is well placed and well played. So that's the 150 on the board for Australia, 151 without loss. And Geoff Marsh, with that 4, joins Mark Taylor, both of them on 61. And it's 151 without loss, 29 extras included. And that was a lovely glance. Lovely shot by Marsh, square drive. It'll go to backward point, but nonetheless to the boundary. And that's 4. And what a marvellous tonic. This 50 is for Geoff Marsh. It now goes to 65. Taylor 61, 155 without loss. I suppose I also should hasten to add to that the fact that Marsh is currently taking the lion's share of the strike, but gee, it's as though somebody's taken the chains off, the handcuffs off.
And it is Malcolm returning from the Radcliffe Road end with 2 slips and a gully and a leg slip. He bowls outside the off stump and is firmly cracked for 4 by Marsh off the back foot. A square cut hit in front of square by Taylor, 4 lovely runs by this remarkably consistent left-hander Mark Taylor, who's had such a wonderful tour. He goes to 74, the total to 176 for no wicket. In comes Malcolm and bowls to Taylor, who fairly laces this to the wide mid-on boundary, between mid-wicket and mid-on, up towards the scoreboard. That was a tremendous shot from a ball not, in fact, all that short from Malcolm, but short enough, and he got in behind it and helped it from outside off stump. Tremendously well-timed stroke. Mark Taylor, one of the great heroes of this summer, is 80 not out of 185 for no wicket.
That one was googly slightly. It was short outside the off stump, and it goes for 4. Well, I say it goes for 4. In fact, it doesn't. As a good running save there as it went down there. Cook chased it up there, and he saved 1 run. So they got 3. So the 200 is up for this opening partnership. Congratulations both to Marsh and Taylor. Impeccable, really, they've been. Absolute ideal start for any test side. 80, and they kept going pretty level. Taylor went ahead a long time, and then Marsh caught him up. Now Taylor's 90, and Marsh is 80. And it's the right-handed Marsh to face up to this leg spin again. Up it comes, and that one is on the middle leg, turned round the corner. Just the 1 run. Russell goes to collect it, but Nick Cook comes in.
Well, they've now equalled the highest Australian first wicket partnership in England by Laurie and Simpson at Old Trafford in 1964. There's only been one higher one by Australia against England anywhere. That was by the same pair at Adelaide in 65-6, which I suspect you saw.
Hemmings runs in at a slight angle. He's running in between the umpire and the stumps, bowling round the wicket to the left hand, and tosses that up well outside the off stump, and that's hit away for 4. It's going over the ropes now at deep cover. It was well wide outside the off stump, and Taylor does hit it extremely well. He's now up to 96. And how many fours he hit, Beardis?
That was his 8th, and he's now got 597 runs in this series.
So if he gets 100, he is in the 600 range.
Atherton starts a new over, and he's cracked away out through the onside field. Taylor takes one. He's going to come back for the second. That should be pulled up by Fraser just inside the boundary, and it'll be 3. And that's it. Mark Taylor gets his century, and I think he's going to do a lap of honour. He's waving to the dressing room, and what a summer he's had. Mark Taylor, 100, Australia 218 without loss. So a personal milestone for Taylor. I think he reaches 600 runs for the series. Australia continue their record-breaking first wicket stand here, 218 without loss. And Mark Taylor really has thoroughly earned the applause that he gets from this large crowd here.
Hemmings, full of the joys of spring, comes in again. Gowers also at short mid-wicket. 4 men round bat. He bowls. Marsh turns this away, and they go for the quick single. They've got it. Marsh has got his 100. He turned it past Curtis at short leg, who got a hand to it, and Fraser completed the fielding. Marsh overruns the stumps by 20 yards and waves his bat in acknowledgement to, I dare say, to the Australian dressing room, and then into the stand over there to the left, which may well be, I suppose, to his wife, who could be. And they've also equalled the record opening partnership for Australia against England, which I was telling you about a moment or two ago, set by Bill Lawrie and Bobby Simpson in 65-66 at the Adelaide Oval, and the record 244. Hemmings in, gives this down, it's swept away by Taylor, and that's the record. That's going away to square leg, bouncing over the ropes for 4.
Hemmings bowls to Taylor, and Taylor cuts. There'll be runs here. Will that be 4 for the 300? It will be. So I thought Taylor might have put down the shutters, but this great day for Australia continues as they bring up the 300. Australia 301 without loss. A marvellous moment. The batsmen just shaking each other by the hand. I'm sure they intended to bat through the day. 300 a bonus. Taylor 141, Marsh 125. Australia 301 without loss. And they've just about broken every record in the books.
Taylor stands pretty still. He pats away at the popping crease, but his bat is down on it now as he waits for this one. Turns this with a flick of the wrist down to third, to long leg, and it's his 50. Well played, 150 for Taylor, 323 for North, and I can't see anything to stop him at the moment.
And they have now equalled the record first wicket partnership by either England or Australia in this long series that was now jointly held by Sir Jack Hobbs and Wilfred Rhodes at Melbourne in 1911-12.
Runs in again now between the umpire and the stumps. That's the flatter one outside the leg stump and turn round the corner. Goes down to long leg, and it's Malcolm running round. It's quite a long round to get it, and he's only reached the ball now just short of the rope, and that is 3 more runs. It's obviously past the record, but which Hobbs and Rhodes achieved for the first wicket. So it's 326 for no wicket.
Cook, left arm round the wicket, gives it air, and he's going to be caught a slip. He's out. He went to heave it against the spin over in the mid-wicket, mid-on region, and the ball just lobbed up. Both of them merely had to back heel a couple of yards and took the easiest of catches. And Geoff Marsh's long, triumphant innings is out. Caught both of them, Beau Cook, 138, and the monumental record opening stand in England-Australia test matches between Geoff Marsh and Mark Taylor has ended at 3:29, and let's just listen to the standing ovation for Geoff Marsh, the Australian vice-captain. Up comes Botham and bowls a slow ball and almost has him caught, but he doesn't, and it goes for another 4. Taylor has now reached 197 as he sliced that drive to the left of Moxon and down to the third-man boundary.
He is the second highest scorer in any series against England for Australia, Bradman having exceeded his total 3 times.
In comes Hemmings, and that turns as well, but this is Mark Taylor's 200 as he leans back and hammers it past cover. One of umpteen superbly hit square cuts in this series. He lifts off his helmet, he waves his bat particularly towards the Australian balcony. David Boone shakes him warmly by the hand. Mark Taylor, almost an unknown cricketer outside the Sheffield Shield a bare 6 months ago, has scored 202 not out. Bowles again, and that swung too, and it was nudged down by Boone past the gully. Smith down to Malcolm, who stops it, and the 400 up, and milestones dropping like acorns off the oak trees in autumn now.
Here is Cook again. He's in. He bowls to Boone. Boone's forward, running that fine of backward point. It's a chase there for Moxon. They go for 1. They come back for 2. And the throw comes in. They get 2. Boone goes to 31. It's 429 for 1. And that is the 100 partnership. Cook bowls. He's down the wicket. He's stumped, and he's out-stumped. So, after he scored 219, I at last managed to put the mockers on Taylor by suggesting he might get 300. He came down the wicket to drive Cook, was beaten in the air, and missed the ball, and Russell had the bails off in a flash. He made, no stumping is that easy, but Russell had, as they go, it was straightforward. He took it splendidly. 430 for 2. Taylor stumped Russell, bowled Cook for 219, and just listen to the applause as the whole ground, to a man, stand to greet him back into the pavilion. Taylor waves his bat, smiles in the direction of his wife, and even Bill Findle is moved to clap, and absolutely right. It was an inspiring performance, and he allows himself a slight smile. He disappears up the steps into the pavilion.
Licks his fingers and then goes in and bowls the googly, I think, which was pulled away down to square leg by Boone, who reaches 50, the third man in the innings to do so in this monumental 458 for 2.
And this one, at a time, Boone sweeps at Hemmings. The ball is coming down towards us. I think it was probably leg buys. It won't get away for 4. Greg Thomas from deep backward square gets there, throws back in, a very wayward throw. It's leg buys signalled by umpire Plews, and that is the 500 up. 502 for 2.
Away goes Cook, tosses it up outside the stump, and then he's slumped. He changed his mind. He was going to drive it, changed his mind, didn't get back. And another very good stumping there by Russell outside the off stump. And Cook has got his 3rd wicket, the only 3 wickets that England got. So congratulations to him, congratulations to Russell on a quick bit of stumping, and also congratulations to Boone on a very good innings of 73 with some delightful on drives between wide, mid, on and mid wicket. I enjoyed those most from him, plus those slashes square on the offside.
Fraser bowls to him, and it balloons off pad out to Gower, who takes a splendid catch, and he's fired him. Dean Jones is out. I can assure you that he doesn't look all that happy, maybe because he's out for 22. Caught Gower, bowled Fraser. Australia 543 for 4. Jones departs, and as he walks down the wicket, it looked all too nonchalant to me. I mean, Gower almost took a superb soccer-type catch to grab the ball, turned to the umpire, said, "What did you think of that?" And the umpire said, "Yes, that's good enough for me." Jones out for 22.
Malcolm is on his way in. He's there now. He bows, and Waugh plays that way in the end. He's caught there by David Gower at mid-wicket, and Stephen Waugh's fantastic record comes to an end. He's out for a duck. Caught Gower, bowled Malcolm. It's Malcolm's first Test wicket, and all the England side gather round to congratulate him. And Malcolm, I think, was just beginning to rue his luck and to feel that this Test cricket is not perhaps quite all I've heard it to be. He's got his wicket, a very much valued wicket. Fraser gives him a tap on the back too, and Fraser, the only other man, one of the only other men to have dismissed Waugh this season in a Test match.
Fraser comes up now, bowls to Healy, and that's outside the old stump, and he's played on. He chopped it on, and he's out, going for, I suppose, a cut. I don't know what it was, but he's tucked his bat under his arm, not looking pleased himself, and I'm glad that gives Fraser another wicket, because I think he well deserves that in his analysis. So it is 560 for 6 now. Fraser runs up again, bowls this one, and that's outside the stump. That's square cut, quite a good stroke that. I don't think it'll go to the boundary, because Malcolm's just going to cut it off now. He runs round, and that is 2 more, and Border has got his 50.
As Hones cuts between the 2 slips fieldsmen, there's a 1st and a 4th in, and that went at catchable height between both of them, and down to the boundary for 4, and that is the 600 up for Australia. The Australians declare at 602 for 6. And just as I suggested a while ago, that's the figure that they got at Leeds. They had 601 at Leeds. 602 here at Trent Bridge, and Alan Border setting England this very tough task of scoring in excess of 400 runs to avoid the follow-on.
Alderman comes in now, past umpire Plews. He bowls to Mox. Moxon's forward hit on the back. He's caught. At second slip, that was off the edge, and it was Waugh there who swooped to his left. Was it Waugh, was it Border? And I can't see, they've submerged very quickly, and Moxon is out. He came forward, it was Bat. I thought for a moment he got his pad in the way. He had his back to us, so one couldn't be certain. It was Bat, and it was caught there at second slip, a low catch swooping to the left, and England are 1 for 1. Here's Alderman again, into Atherton. He's there, he bowled. Atherton comes right in on the bat and field for LBW. He's out. He's out, LBW for naught. And Atherton has lasted 2 balls. Alderman, that seemed to be a fairly straight one. He played a little bit outside it, and Atherton's first test innings has come to an end, and England are 1 run for 2 wickets. 2 wickets in the first over, and really this is disaster piled on disaster.
This one is... Oh, it's a good one. He must be out. He is. Came back at him. Curtis is LBW. It's a beautiful ball there from Alderman. My goodness, he's a marvellous bowler. He really is.
Lawson bowls to Gower, and Gower takes a wild swish outside the off stump. And is he out? He is. Caught behind by Healy. I was just waiting to make sure that Healy had taken the catch. I wasn't awfully sure that there was an edge on it. And then you had to make the judgment that there was so much animation in the Australian slips field that there was just the faintest of edge. The wicketkeeper fell awkwardly with the ball. As soon as he stood up, and umpire Shepherd looked at umpire Plews, made sure that it had carried, and David Gower, the English skipper, is out. Caught Healy, bowled Lawson 11, England 37 for 4.
In comes Hughes and bowls to Smith, who laces into a square drive to get his 50. This is superb batting by Robin Smith. It is calculated counter-attack. And playing every ball on its merit, but when he gets a bad one, he doesn't just bruise it, he murders it. Hughes bowls to him again. This time Smith cuts a bad ball for 4. And the crowd over the advertising hoarding there on the Fox Road boundary must have been a bit worried as that ball fairly whistled towards them, and such was the pace of it that it looked like climbing the advertising hoarding and giving somebody a very nasty bruise. 100 up.
Lawson to Russell again, and he plays and misses, or does he? He's out, caught. The breakthrough comes for Lawson. The catch is taken by Healy. He's just feathered that through. There was one, I think, about 2 overs ago from Lawson where he played and missed, and the slips threw their hands up, this time with better reason, and Russell is out. Caught Healy, bowled Lawson 20, England 119 for 5.
Holmes bowls to Smith, who pulls through mid-wicket for 4 runs to bring up a magnificent 100. And many of the crowd, almost all the crowd, are rising to salute a marvellous piece of counter-attacking cricket by Robin Smith of Hampshire and England.
Alderman comes in now and bowls to Smith. And Smith is caught behind, going for a cut, caught behind off the top edge. He's caught Healy, bowled Alderman to give Alderman 31 in the series. Smith is out for 101. Caught there by Healy of Alderman. You can see it all the way, going for the cut, and he's cursing himself. But what a splendid innings, and let the crowd tell you how much they've appreciated his cricket.
And here's Waugh in, bowls there to Fraser, who goes back into his stumps, plays this away square on the egg side. It's 4 runs. And that is his highest test score, but what a good stroke. It was on a little bit short, it was on his pads, he went back and played it away into the gap with splendid timing. And good round, well, very appropriately, he should get a good round of applause too. 203 for 6.
Oh, a slog by Hemmings, and he plays on. That was not a good shot, I'm afraid. And Hemmings is out, bowled Alderman for 38, and England have lost their 7th wicket at 214, and when he gets back, he will be very disappointed that he played that shot. He was heading towards mid-on, a ball probably just outside his off stump. And a sad end to a spirited innings by Eddie Hemmings. Alderman bowls to him, and Botham goes resolutely forward and he's off the mark with 4 through the slots. It hurt him. He's taken his right hand off the handle of the bat as he ran up there, but it was all along the ground and a good resolute stroke. So it would be marvellous if the Botham legend were to continue with a great innings here.
Now, Angus Fraser to take strike, and it's Trevor Hohns, the leg spinner from the pavilion end, goes and bowls to him. He flights as he's bowled him. He's bowled him. Fraser played forward. He looked to be trying to drive the ball. It's turned straight into the wickets, and the bails fly and make a mess. The Australian fieldsmen gather as Angus Fraser leaves the field. Bowled by Hohns for 29. England 243 for 8. Hohns takes Botham on the pad. No, he didn't. There was an edge in that. And Hohns has had Botham caught at silly point. So Botham is out for 12. England 244 for 9. And Australia must now be rated an excellent possibility of cleaning up this England innings on this third evening. Botham out for 12. England 244 for 9.
Hohns again, in bowls to Malcolm. Malcolm swings us away. That will have the high, wide and handsome. It's 6 runs. Over the head of Jones there at long on, into the front of the ladies' stand for 6.
That was the first 6 of this test match. When you consider the Australians scored 602, that's quite a surprising statistic.
Here's Hughes again. Let's see what he's going to offer him. He's up to the wicket now. He bowls, and as Malcolm goes back, he's caught behind. He waved his bat at that, and the ball deflected. I think he's quite grateful that that's over. He was on his way to the square leg umpire on that occasion too. England are all out for 255.
In goes Lawson, bowls to Gower again, and that's bowled him! I was just about to say it pitched outside the line of the off stump, and indeed, if it did, it snipped back. But that's not knocked the off stump back, and Gower is out, bowled by Lawson for 5. England 5 for 1. Alderman to Curtis, and that strikes him on the pad. That's close. That's out. And that's almost exactly the same as the way he was dismissed in the first innings. He was really falling across the line. It struck him on the pad. I thought for a split second that it may have adjudged to mean missing the leg stump, but it took him on the pad. And again, we see the demise of an England batsman. LBW to Alderman. It's Curtis this time. LBW Alderman for 6. England 13 for 2.
And Hughes is in, bowls to Smith. And bowl him, he's yorked him, his leg stump's out of the ground. Smith has gone, bowled by Hughes for 26, and England now 67 for 3. It was a leg stump yorker. He played over the top of it. The leg stump is there about 2 yards back towards the wicketkeeper. Hughes is submerged. I don't think anyone actually kissed him.
Here is Atherton waiting as Hughes comes up, bowls this one outside the off stump, and he gets right across that one, steers it square on the offside, and it's Marsh running up to deep point, and they're coming back for a second, and applause for the 100. .100 for 3. Atherton is now 36. Mopson the other bats for 15.
Alderman in, bowls there now. Oh, and he's bowled Moxon. He came far forward. It kept pretty low, that one. And the bails went up like a lot of fireworks. And the Australians gather round Alderman. He's taken his 2nd wicket of the innings. His 34th of the series. England are 106 for 4. Moxon bowled Alderman 18.
Lawson bowls to him again, and he's bowled him! Knocked his off stump back. And Russell, we were just saying it was improbable that he could defend and defend and defend right through this afternoon, particularly on a wicket that is starting to play a few tricks. Hohns bowls to Atherton, and Atherton on the drive, and then he's set that straight back to the bowler, and he's out caught. Hohns, a very good catch indeed. In fact, I just paused for a split second to ensure that he hadn't let it hit that into the wicket. But let's pay tribute to Hohns. That was a brilliant catch. He drove that hard in the air, and Hohns on the follow-through had to dive away to his left to take what was a splendid catch and pick up a critical wicket for the Australians. Atherton caught and bowled Hohns 47. England 120 for 6.
It was a splendid catch and a good innings by Atherton. Hasn't played all that amount of leg break bowling, though he's a leg break bowler himself, and the applause well deserved.
Hohns bowls fine delivery, the top spinner, I think, and gets through Fraser's defences. Somebody said something to Fraser, who looked back at the fielder in question.
I would say that was probably the top spinner rather than Googly. It came on very, very quickly, kept very low.
Good bit of bowling by Trevor Hohns, who's playing his full part and has done in this series. He's picked up a lot of useful wickets, and it's lovely to see a leg spinner really proving useful in Test cricket. 134 for 7. Hohns has bowled Fraser for 1.
Here comes Hughes. He's in now. He bowls to Hemmings. Hemmings makes it in front. He's OBW. He went back, and Hemmings, in fact, was walking. That one cut back into him, and he was absolutely plumb. And they gather round Hughes to congratulate him, and Lawson comes running in from fine leg. Lawson, who's had a word or two with Hemmings, to offer his congratulation. In fact, he almost makes a bow of obeisance to the moustached fast bowler. Everyone's pleased. Hemmings knew he was out. He kept a bit low. He was on the back foot. He was nowhere. 160 for 8. Hemmings LBW bowled Hughes for 35. Here comes Hughes again in bowls. He bowled him. He's bowled him, and it's all over. Australia have won this Test match by an innings and 180 runs. They're coming off. William, you really, honestly, you were trying.
The players' umpires were looking at the balcony. They weren't sure whether both was coming off or not.
Okay, I think I'll forgive you. 167 for 9, England all out. They lost by an innings and 180 runs. They are now 4-0 down in the series. The Australians seize the stumps. I'm very glad to see that Stumper Taylor has got one with that innings of 299, and all the Australians are shaking the umpires by the hand.
Well, it's an absolute... It's another massacre, really.